Hello, my fellow individuals. I am Mr. Mini Mask Man here, and today I'm going to review Season 7, Episode 5 of The Walking Dead. Now, obviously, if you've not seen the episode, then please do not watch this video until you do so, as this video contains spoilers and possible comic book spoilers. So this episode I thought was actually a tad bit better than the last episode, and I think the one before too, honestly. Now this whole episode, like I talked about last time, I think was going to focus more on the hilltop of what's going on there and Maggie in general about her beginning character development, which is what basically happened here. So basically where they left off is just where after Glenn's death, Glenn and Abraham, where Sasha and Maggie went to the hilltop to stay there, while Jesus there to care for them or whatever. Now Gregory, the current leader of the hilltop, he doesn't want him there because about the incident with what happened with them, and now he says, with the Saviors, and he just doesn't want to get involved with any more danger from them or get on their bad side because both of them are in there. So he wants them out of them immediately. Doesn't matter if Maggie's pregnant, because Greg is a douche. Gregory's he's another douche. So we got Spencer and Gregory. Now we just don't want to deal with. But like I said, comic book spoilers right now. Spencer's going to get his pretty soon, actually. I'm going to predict probably the mid-season finale, maybe, or the one before, is what will happen with Spencer. Gregory, if they're following comics, he'll get his after Negan's arc, the whole all-out war and all that, after that, where it begins to the new beginning arc, where, the Whisperers. So, that's where we can finally see, where Greg, gets his. Although Maggie does become leader, like, around the end of All-Out War, but you know what I mean. So, I guess what I liked about this one, there was slightly a little bit more, Walker action that we've seen. It basically was just Maggie, Sasha, and Jesus. And Jesus was pretty freaking cool with his freaking martial arts kicks going on, So I thought that was pretty tight, because Jesus is pretty badass in the comics. He knows how to fight pretty well, trust me. So I thought that was pretty tight in that scene. Although with the music, something that with the music, I don't know anymore if it's just like the background music for us viewers to listen to go along with the scene, or the music actually playing within the show where the characters can hear it, So I didn't know if it was that case again, or if it's just, this time it's just us that we listen to. But apparently I think, if I remember, it was being played there. To call out the walkers. The gate, I think, was open and all the walkers coming in. There was burnt fire. And I could say, okay, yeah, this was definitely the Savior's work here. So, right now, I think Maggie, what was kind of interesting with Maggie here, right after Glenn's death, you would think that she would have moped a lot more, become extremely depressed. But after so many losses from her, from her dad, her sister, and now Glenn, her husband, she kind of, like I said, is more of her development here. She said, let's not dwell too much in the past, which was until the end of the episode. Let's just not dwell into this. We don't have to keep this for memory's sake. We will always remember them basically in our minds. We just got to keep going, move forward, and become better. And that's basically what she was trying to say in the end. So you can definitely see Maggie slowly developing into this character that we're going to see now, the new Maggie, the more stronger, independent Maggie, which will eventually, again, comic book spoiler here, will become the leader of the Hilltop Colony right around the end of All Out War, when that happens. So I thought that was pretty interesting. When they, this Maggie. This is the Maggie that I wanted to see, this new Maggie, this more independent, stronger Maggie, in spirit and mind. So we're just, like I said, this is the beginning for her. So we're going to see that a lot more for sure. So you're going to see a lot more Maggie throughout this season or throughout Negan's arc. So you'll definitely see that and how she'll end up becoming. If they follow it correctly from the comics, of course. which I'm pretty sure I will. I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen, as what we're seeing in the episode. So, yeah. And let me see, with Sasha, it's just more, shows a little bit more of that moopier side for her loss of Abraham, but she also lost people too, if you think, she actually lost people too, if you think about it. She lost her lover, Bob. She lost her brother, Tyrese. And then she lost her, close friend / lover, Abraham. So she also had 3 losses right there. It's just the difference is, I think, it affected more Maggie in this case because we've seen her more than Sasha. So in a way, they both had their losses, so they both know what they know about each other, their pain, their suffering, their loss. So which is reason I guess why Sasha was there with her, because they both know what they've been through, and especially recently because of Abraham and Glenn. So, but yeah, so I think Sasha's more than just for support, and right alongside Maggie for that. But Maggie's gonna have the bigger development there for sure. And I freaking liked it when she punched freaking Gregory in the face. So around the end of the episode, because he was gonna rat them out to the Saviors when they came with what's his name, Negan's other right hand man. I forgot his name, but I know it's not his name, but I'm gonna call him Trevor. From GTA 5, because that's basically Trevor from GTA 5. He's the voice actor and so forth. So just for now, unless someone corrects me his actual name, please, in the comments, I'm gonna call him Trevor just in this case until I know his character's name again. But yeah, anyways, until he visited and collect this the half of the stuff from the Hilltop Colony, and he was basically talking to Gregory during this visit. And it was kind of interesting in this character compared to Dwight. Dwight was, like you said, like what we saw, was more of this complicated situation that he's in. He doesn't want to do this, but he has to do this. But deep inside, he doesn't want to, but he knows the consequences of why he won't refuse, so he has to. Back and forth. But like I said, the last episode, they kind of, I don't know, they took a step backwards for Dwight, for making him like a real big douchebag with against Rosita. It was completely unnecessary, so I was just kind of like, oh great, now we're back to hating him again. So we have to wait again until they make us feel something for him later on, because Dwight's going to play an important role later. Now for Trevor, I know it's not his thing, but Trevor, this was an interesting character take in this one, what we saw. Yeah, he's still kind of obviously he's a savior, so almost all saviors are douchebags. But his was interesting. I saw his more like he kind of liked having that power, almost like Negan. Where he even told Gregory, where Gregory was saying, oh, let me talk, I'll send a message to Negan about apologizing for this situation, whatever. And Trevor says, well, you can just, Negan says you can call me Negan, so I'm your Negan. So basically, now he has to answer to him. So it kind of feels like you see him, he likes that thought of power, just like Negan. So he's almost treating himself like he was Negan in this situation, which I thought was kind of interesting. And when they looked at the painting of, I thought it was Napoleon Bonaparte, and it was again a symbolism for power, for rise of power. And no matter if he was the little man, like in this case, what he thinks of himself, even though he's just the right-hand man, he still thinks of himself high almighty, like Negan. And I don't know if that's a foreshadowing of maybe trying in the future during All Out War to take out Negan to become the next top, or he just kind of admires Negan in this way, where he truly sees himself as a copy of Negan, but within himself. So yeah, it was at least that's what I thought. Of course, it might be something completely different, or maybe I was just way over analyzing it. So, but I don't know. I thought that was interesting in his character, how he was dealing with this, and that like I said, Gregory was going to turn on Maggie and Sasha. He pointed into the closet, but it ended up being all of his liquor, which Gregory loves. So you saw his face when he had to give all of it, even though Trevor says he doesn't like scotch, but Negan will, and he was going to take the credit, and all that. So, and then the last thing I think what I noticed, like I said, when it came to power, what he felt like is when he told Gregory to kneel down to him. Almost like how he and the rest of the Sabers have to kneel down to Negan. So with him, he was like saying kneel down. So he's, like I said, it almost feels like he's in this power trip. He feels like he has this power. He's living, when he's in the hilltop, he feels like, I am Negan in here, in this area. But when I go back, to the sanctuary, where Negan and the other Sabers are, I'm back to being just a right-hand man. Just another guy that works for Negan, but just slightly higher up. So, like I said, with his character, it's some kind of interesting where his was more of this so-called power trip that he's taking. Now, I don't know if that'll affect him in the future, or that's just how he is in general, whenever he goes to the Hilltop Colony, always. So, yeah, I thought that was actually kind of an interesting thing I was kind of analyzing in that episode. So, now, like I said, Gregory, God, you just freaking hate the guy. When Maggie punched him at the end, because he still wanted him out, even though after Maggie, Sasha, and Jesus, of course, saved the Hilltop from all those walkers coming in, he still wanted to kick him out, even though he didn't care Maggie was pregnant. It doesn't matter. He wanted him out. He's just looking after himself. He says he's looking out for the community, but we know in reality he's just looking out for himself. And it's sad because, like Jesus says at the end, it's like saying nobody in reality didn't want him to be the leader, but no one else wanted to stand up to become the leader, so they ended up with him. And I'm pretty sure, and if I recall, not a lot of people, agree with Gregory being the leader. But they have no choice. They need a leader, and no one stood up. So that's why I'm saying in the end, when Maggie and Sasha was like, so who do you think will become the leader? And Jesus says, I'll talk to you guys soon about that. Which eventually, like I said, it'll end up being Maggie. So like I said, it's just the beginning of Maggie's character development even further now. So we're going to see more Maggie, like I said, this whole season. For sure. So more Maggie, more of becoming, this other character now. Hopefully if they do it right. But so far, when I see this episode, they're doing it right. But yeah, Jesus, being a badass and all in the action. And also a pretty cool guy. Just trying to, take care of his community, and grateful for Sasha and Maggie, of course, and all that. But yeah, and let me see. Oh yeah, and then also like what I hate about Gregory is when he took the frickin' pocket watch that was from Glenn's or Herschel that he passed down to Glenn, I think. I was just like, God, because Maggie left it in the grave, Glenn's grave. And he took it anyways. I'm like, dude, that's just low as hell. It really is. So I was like, I can't wait soon when he gets his. I know it's going to be a little bit later, like maybe another season and a half at most. But he'll get his, don't worry. Gregory will get his, unless they change his death and his comes even earlier than we thought, or hopefully not even later. But for now, if they're sticking with comics, it'll be a little bit down the road, for sure. Unless hopefully we get lucky and he actually gets killed a lot earlier than we thought. So yeah, I can't wait for that. Now it showed a little bit of Rick and Michonne. I think Michonne was staying, or she was going to another group. I can't remember. They're gonna go, scavenging for more stuff for Negan. And Carl was just kind of like, why we gotta do this? And Rick's like, why? So, and Carl's like, so it's gonna be like this from now on? And Rick's like, yeah. So, basically saying, what he did, so you saw. And Carl's just sick of it. And like I said, Carl's one of the few characters, besides him and Rosita, that still wants to stand up and retaliate against Negan and the Saviors, for sure. So, like I remember I told in the last video, when in the comics Carl jumps in the truck, I think it was after Negan's second visit, but I must have maybe gotten things, I have to recall, but I think it was during that when he jumped in the truck, you know, to follow Negan's hideout and try to kill him there. But obviously it didn't work out. But instead, Negan showed him his whole base of Sanctuary and how he runs the Saviors and, you know, etc. Everything that's going on in their area. While at the same time, so they did that at the end where actually he does go into the truck with Jesus as well, also tracking them. I think I do remember Jesus was following Negan's truck and all that, and he escaped. I remember, like, I think he got caught, but he escaped somehow. If I'm not mistaken. But I'll have to look back on that one again, because it's kind of fuzzy a little bit on that memory. But yeah, so, you know, Jesus now is going to follow their compound while Carl is there too. Now, the only thing that I felt kind of weird, a little bit out of place, but I kind of understand why, was the whole Carl and Ned thing. I mean, you know, the whole building love and all that, so it felt, I don't know, it felt kind of odd, like odd in place with this episode. Maybe they would have done it, I don't know, in another, well then again, I don't know where would have been a good time to do that, but you know, I guess I just wanted to throw in there, besides to fill up time, but also just to get it out of the way to say, okay, Carl and Ned, you know, the tension's out, they're actually together per se. I mean, it's not official, but you know, but we saw the kiss and all that, so technically it's a step forward. But still, you know, I don't know, it just felt kind of weird, you know, with them just walking together, holding hands together, finding the skates. I thought was the weirdest part, where they were just skating together, holding hands. It felt, I don't know, it felt weird. But I get it though. I mean, I know they have to kind of speed up that process, so I guess I just wanted to throw it in this episode, since it's not really focused on Rick or Alexandria or Negan and all that, so I guess they just kind of found a spot to throw it in this episode. So I'm like, okay, fine, you know. I was like, sure, you know, whatever. But that was the only thing I felt that was just kind of a little bit odd. That felt kind of off. Just a little, not a lot, just a little in this episode. But you know, what's done is done. So it just had to be done. So I'm just kind of glad they kind of got that out of the way. It could have been worse. They could have put it in a very unnecessary episode where we needed more of this event and less of that. So I guess I'm okay with that. It's just a personal thing. I mean, maybe people liked it, maybe people just ignored it, you know, whatever. But again, personal thing, just personal thought. But yeah, and then, you know, Annette arrived with her green balloons. You know, Annette and her balloons, as always. You know, she put them in the graves above Abraham and Glenn's, like she said, more as a marking to know where they're located. And, you know, so I'm pretty sure Annette's gonna stay over at the hilltop, I guess, throughout the rest of the season. I don't think she won't be back in Alexandria. Now, the funny thing is, what I think Annette's role is, slowly looks like she's gonna be like Sophia's role in the comics. You know, because Sophia's been treated like Maggie's daughter in the comics. So it kinda looks like that. I'm just guessing. I don't know if Annette's role will slowly become Sophia's role like in the comics. Obviously, Sophia died long ago in the series, so she's far gone, but because you see, Annette had a strong connection with Glenn and Maggie. Almost like a mother-father figure, almost. But it's slowly getting there, you know? So, I think, like I said, Annette's role might actually fill in for Sophia's role in the comics. So, we might see that actually ended up being that. So, Maggie's gonna almost treat her like a daughter, or Ned's gonna almost see her like a mother. Especially after the whole All Out War Negan arc. When they go to the Whispers, which is a time period, I think it's what, 2 or 3 years later. So, especially around that time. But for now, it's kind of going there. At least from what I see. So, yeah. So, and I think that's pretty much... I don't know if there's any other important fact I can think of that I missed in this episode. So, at least anything other important fact or any interesting thing. Maybe I might have, but I just forgotten. So, what I saw from the preview, I guess, for the next episode, I think it is gonna go to the part where maybe Carl will get discovered. You know, Negan's actually gonna show him around the sanctuary, what they do, him and the Savior. So I saw that, you know, Negan was talking to his man and explaining how everything is done and operated. So I think we are gonna see that. Next episode is just gonna be, half of the episode will be that, and I think the other half will just be Rick, Michonne, and a few of the other groups. I think I saw Tara there. Just, you know, getting supplies, killing walkers, you know. So I think that's what the second episode might be, and I think Jesus will find the place, and he'll immediately try to go back to the hilltop to pinpoint the location, and maybe tell, I don't know if he's going to go back to the hill. I can't remember if he goes back to the hilltop. I think he'll go back to the hilltop, let Maggie and them know, and then they're going to go to Rick to tell him. And I don't know if at the same time is where Rick might know about the kingdom. So that's what I'm trying to remember. When is the time where Rick discovers the kingdom, or who told him about the kingdom? I don't know if Morgan would come back to Alexandria and tell Rick about the kingdom, while Jesus tells him the location of where Negan and the Saviors are. And that's where it's going to he slowly starts getting a plan. And I think after Spencer's death and something else happens where it pushes Rick to say, you know what, it's time to take him out. You know, he snaps, he's like, it's time to take him out. No, you know what, I think it was when Negan brings Carl back. Besides Spencer's death, I think when Negan brings Carl back is when Rick is slowly gonna, you know, start thinking of how to take him down, little by little, but not fully snap yet. Well, I think that's the start, is when Negan takes Carl back to Alexandria while Rick is there. I think that's what's gonna happen. And on top of that, he kills Spencer, but you know, we also hate Spencer too because he's another douche. But, you know, around that part is where you slowly start to see Rick is going to plan something. And then, I guess Maggie or Jesus is going to go to Rick and tell him about the location of Sanctuary. While I think Morgan will come and he'll tell him about the kingdom. And then those three are going to start planning on how to take out Negan with the surprise visit of Dwight, who's going to go and tell him more info about how they run things, how they fight, etc. So I think that's what's going to happen in these following episodes for the mid-season finale, I believe. So, and then the other half of the season, I think, is the attempt of Negan's assassination and the official declaration of All Out War, which will be like around the end of the season or the season finale. So that's what I think is going to happen later on. But yeah, I guess we will see about that for sure. But overall, I thought the episode was actually good. You know, it was actually good. I kind of like this episode, so I thought it was a lot better than the last two. So personally, I thought this one was actually not too shabby. I like this one, so it's not too bad. But yeah, more Maggie. Like I said, we'll get to see. We'll see more about the Saviors compound later on, and then like I said, get prepared for Rick slowly gonna snap back into being the old Rick again, little by little. But trust me, he will be back for being the old Rick. And I think that's all I gotta say about this episode. If I'm not missing anything, hopefully, or not missing anything important or any important details that I missed. If I did miss anything out, just definitely let me know in the comments. So if I missed something important, so just let me know. But I think that's all I gotta say for now. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and if you liked the video, you know what to do. And as I always say to everyone here, I hope you guys have a nice day.